What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 5 different stocks today. These are going to be Pelosi's picks at the request of K. Carvel. He did a special request here with a super chat. Thank you, my friend, by the way, for that. He said CPVSTROLHURATEM. Congressional stock pick analysis following the money. These are some that Nancy Pelosi and others recently piled into. I'm curious about your take and what the charts have to say. Thank you. So these are the stocks that some of our United States politicians who they don't have any insider information at all, right? That's not how they make their money. No, they do it the old-fashioned way, right? They just make their money on their salary. No, they've got insider information. They absolutely do. Does that mean that every single time they buy that things just pump magically? No, but they normally get in at good prices. With that being said, I'm assuming Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited. I'm going to assume that with the tariff wars that have started recently, and I don't know if we should even call it a tariff war, but just the drama that will start in the markets with these tariffs, I would assume that all of these stocks, if not most of them, would probably drop tomorrow. So expecting that, let's kind of look at the charts and see if that agrees. Okay, so first and foremost, I suppose we should take the high here to the low here. We take the high to low, you can see that you are at the golden ratio zone. Generally speaking, when you hit the golden zone and then you bounce off the 0.5, you do exceed that and you go higher, but you bounced off it twice and you did not go higher. So that tells me you probably go a little bit lower. The 382 is a likely area. You found resistance here a couple times. You even found support here before, so I'm liking that. At the lowest, you could go to the 236, but it is somewhat uncommon. I shouldn't even say somewhat. It's pretty uncommon to reject your 618 and then go down to your 236 and still build from there. That doesn't make so much sense to me. If we go to the 382 and bounce something like that, that's a nice kind of higher low trajectory that you have here. It makes sense to me. And then again, finding support at previous areas of resistance here, resistance there, previous areas of support. You even had some turbulence back here. It just makes sense. From a fib perspective, from a price perspective, it makes sense. So my call would be you're at 79.60. You're probably going to flip the script and go to 76.90. And then from there, you'll build. I suspect that you will achieve this low sometime this coming week. And I would even suspect that you start moving back up by the end of the week, if not going into the following week. I would expect this coming week to be red. So that's CP. Let's move on to VST here. Vistra Corp. Vistra Corp down 4.7% to end the week last week. If we're looking at this on a weekly basis, what you got here? Kind of a triple top in your RSI. I wouldn't call it bearish divergence, but that is rather bearish in itself, I suppose. Let's look at the monthly. The monthly's got some bearish divergence going, but it looks like it does want to go higher. So month to month, I expect that you do see some more growth, which is nice. It doesn't stop here, but week to week, you might come down a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw that. That doesn't mean you have to go lower than this low, but lower than 168 is what I would expect. So if you're going to go lower than 168, this low to this high here, I don't know, man. That might be, I don't know. Pelosi and her friends might be getting screwed on this one, actually. I don't like this one. I take it back, guys. I think this one's actually going to go lower. I think looking at this here, right, from these lows like this, okay, you're still in it. I guess it didn't look as bad as I thought, to be completely fair. You bounced off your 382. I don't like the daily RSI. I do and I don't. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one, man. I want to say I don't like the daily RSI, but to be fair, it actually doesn't look bad. The only thing is tomorrow you likely move down, so you'll reject here. Where when you bounced here, you bounced here before, you bounced here before, you bounced here before, and all of those times took you to the overbought zone, but none of those times did you stop like you are now. You just went straight up. You just went straight up. You just went, okay, I guess kind of here you stopped, to be completely fair. You did. What did you do whenever you stopped there? What'd you do? You just kind of moved sideways and down. I don't think you'll move sideways and down. I would think you retrace, but I don't think you go below this low. I'm all over the place with this one. I'm going to give you some if-thans, okay? It's the best I can do. You're at 168 now. I suspect you go lower. I don't suspect you go lower than $131. But you might go to about 150 to 140, maybe even around this low, but not below that low. If I'm wrong and you do go below 131, you likely don't stop till you're about at 100 to 93, somewhere in there, $100 to $93, somewhere in there, maybe just above $100 even, right? But like literally just above it at 101 there. If you don't hold 131, you're going to drop anything from another 40 bucks to 30 bucks, something like that. And if you do hold it, or you hold some higher low, I would suspect that comes in at 140 to 150. So I guess if I had to make a call for this one, my call would be, I expect a drop. It starts tomorrow. It probably ends this week, and it'll likely be around 140 to 150, probably closer to 140. If it goes below that, that's fine. If it goes below 131, that's fine. That just means instead of bouncing here and going higher, you will likely go to your golden ratio and then go higher. But I suppose we'll know more tomorrow. It depends on how severe this drop could be. I mean, it could be intense. It could really be intense. It might not be that intense, but something still to the negative side. I don't know. For this chart, it seems like an intense drop. I mean, that was a pretty intense drop. That's the most intense drop you've seen. But regularly speaking, or as far as what you normally do, you know, something like this I think might be more considered. Something around 140 is what I'm going to guess. Okay, let's move on from there. Okay, ROL is the next one. Rollins. Yeah, some bearish divergence there. Topping off, what are you at? Your 786 there? High. You got some bearish looks here. Golden ratio. Yeah, you probably go lower. I'm going to guess 382 as well. $47.83, something like that. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. If not, you could go lower. Let's see. Let's look at this thing. I want to look at it on a weekly basis and just see real quick. Oh, yeah, this is one of those. Okay, this one I am confident it's going to roll over. Okay, this one's got lower to go. This is a bad pick for Nancy Pelosi and the boys. From a low to a high, and the girls, I don't know. Maybe AOC or Elizabeth Warren are in this as well. I have no idea. I don't know what their investment practices are. I don't keep up with all that stuff, but I would suspect you're in a greater move. You probably, over the weeks, over the months, I think this one goes to 38 to 37 bucks. This is the one that's going to suck it up big for them. And the reason why I believe that is this RSI, that's a nice postured downtrend. And generally, you don't see downtrends in the RSI or uptrends in the RSI end until they get to their respective zones, right? This is an uptrend here. It didn't end until you got to the overbought zone, right? This was even an uptrend here, and it didn't end until you got right into the overbought zone. And even then, you still went higher, right? Downtrend here, very sharp downtrend, didn't end until you got to the oversold zone. Doesn't mean it has to be that way. You started a downtrend here and you didn't go to the oversold zone, okay? But you were very overbought at that point. Here you're rejecting the overbought zone. You've been in a more systematic downtrend. I suspect that this will last for probably quite a while. I mean, going into the end of this year, this thing's going to suck in 2025 if I'm correct in assuming this. So I don't like this one. Good to short, good to open up some puts on perhaps. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but lower. Over the weeks, over the months, I believe you're going to go to 38 to 37 bucks by the end of this year, probably around Q3. That's my thoughts, but I don't know. You know, there's probably more to this than meets the eye as well. Anything can happen. I could be wrong, of course, but even if it doesn't move that low, I certainly suspect it will go lower from here. It's definitely the one so far that looks the worst. Hoorah. Hoorah. All right, well, this one looks really good. Not the most opportune buying opportunity right here, but that is a bull flag. That absolutely is a bull flag. It looks like it. It could negate itself, but I mean, you'd have to drop quite a ways to negate yourself. Let's look at the monthly basis. You only go down. Yeah, this one's probably going to go down too then. Nah. Was there an acquisition here? Was there some kind of acquisition? Oh, see, this one, there might be some fundamental elements at play. Okay, let me just see. Oh, you like to dump. Ooh, interesting. See, there's some fundamentals at play here that I'm not aware of, so don't hold me to this prediction too well. But I'm going to give it my best try here, okay? From a low to a high at your 236, I would think, being at $4.99, I would think just based on the fibs that you would go back down to $1.42. But then I look at the daily time frame, and that puts you back below this gap. That puts you into this gap here. I don't think you go too far into this gap, man. I don't. I personally don't. I don't know what's at play. At the risk of being wrong here, because I don't know the fundamentals, I'm going to assume something big happened here, something very positive, some kind of acquisition of sorts happened here. or I don't know how else to explain that, right? What's the market cap of this? Market cap is 211. Maybe that's when Nancy Pelosi and the boys bought. I don't know. But I would assume you do move down because, again, I think... Oh, I thought that was my cat, but that's just a dog barking outside. I'll let my cats outside. They were born outside, man. They're okay. They know what to do. But I would assume you go down tomorrow with the rest of the markets probably. So Tuhura Biosciences, I'm going to assume you move back down to around this low here. Something around your 236, maybe even just below there. 277 sometime this month. Okay, that's where I think you're going to go. Let's finish this bad boy up with Tempus AI Inc. All right, so an AI stock here. Lower highs, yeah. Bearish divergence, also going down. So the first two looked good. The last three look bad. And when I say look good, they all look like they want to move down momentarily, and that is mainly because of the tariff wars, or tariff issue, however you want to phrase it, right? If tariff war is too triggering for you, I'm just saying it because it rolls off the tongue. Tariff conflict, tariff drama, whatever you want to say. The tariffs themselves, I guess that's the shortest way. I would assume that everything kind of drops tomorrow, but that's bearish divergence. This one actually looks probably the worst out of all of them. Maybe not the worst in terms of like long term, because there's not a whole lot of data to assume what the long term will look like, but maybe the worst in the short term. I would suspect that you do see a kind of rather immediate drop. I bet you do go all the way down to 40 bucks. Yeah, you're at 57.39, 40 bucks to 38 bucks. Yeah. And that's my prediction. I genuinely mean that. That's the golden ratio. You will fill the gap at that rate. You'll be finding support at previous areas of resistance and previous areas of support, right? If I put a line right here, you have a little bit of support right there, right in the middle of your golden ratio. Kind of a turbulence zone there, I bet you do that, man. That's my expectation. So lower for all of them. The first two, I think, over the weeks and probably close February green. The other ones, I think, will close February red, and if not February, then at least this year, like they've got lower to go. So this one, I don't know how much longer it goes down. At the moment, I suspect it goes. I suspect that it goes somewhere around here. Okay, somewhere in that zone, around 40 bucks, if not lower. But I'm not necessarily assuming that you go lower than this. I kind of like the volume that you had here building out. A higher low, fill the gap at the golden ratio. That could definitely be something to send you up to new all-time highs. But I would expect that a move like that probably takes a week or two to achieve. So probably not this week, but next week, if not the week after, that you find your low there. But this one would be the one out of all of them that I would probably be the most interested in buying, just based on the downside potential in the short term, and then likely the upside potential afterwards. But we don't really know that until we see how we interact with the lows. So we'll go from there. I got nothing else for you. If you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. It's been a while since I've done just an all stock video, so thank you for that, K Carvel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.